Have you ever noticed that when you're super stressed, the last thing you want is peace and quiet? You'd rather blast music, binge watch a show, or endlessly scroll through your phone. It seems counterintuitive, right? Shouldn't a stressed out mind crave silence? Well, today, we're diving deep into the fascinating science behind why silence can feel so deafeningly uncomfortable when you're under pressure. And trust me, the answer is not what you think. If you've ever felt this way, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our deep dives into the mysteries of the human mind. So, let's set the scene. You've had a brutal day. Your boss was on your case, you're buried in deadlines, and maybe you had a fight with a friend. You get home, and the house is empty and silent. Instead of feeling relieved, a wave of anxiety washes over you. The silence isn't calming, it's amplifying. Every worry, every fear, every negative thought suddenly has a megaphone. Why does this happen? To understand this, we need to look at what's happening in our brains. When we're stressed, our brain's fight or flight system, the sympathetic nervous system, goes into overdrive. A flood of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline courses through our bodies. This system is designed to keep us alert and ready for danger. Think of it as our ancient built-in alarm system that helped our ancestors escape saber-toothed tigers. The problem is, in our modern world, the dangers are often emails, bills, and social pressures, not physical threats. But our brain reacts in the same primitive way. Now, here's where silence comes in. In this hyper-alert state, your brain is actively scanning the environment for threats. When there's external noise music, a podcast, the TV, your brain has something to focus on. This external stimulus acts as a distraction, a buffer. It gives your overactive mind a job to do, processing the sounds around you. But when you're plunged into silence, that buffer is gone. There's nothing external for your brain to latch onto. So where does it turn? Inward. Suddenly, with no outside distractions, your brain starts to focus on the internal noise, your own thoughts. And when you're stressed, those thoughts are usually not pleasant. They're the worries, the anxieties, the replays of everything that went wrong. This is a phenomenon some psychologists call attentional capture. Your worries capture your attention because your brain, in its heightened state of alert, flags them as potential threats that need to be dealt with immediately. Silence creates the perfect empty stage for these anxious thoughts to take the spotlight and run wild. It's like being locked in a room with your biggest fears, and you can't escape because the room is your own mind. There's another crucial piece to this puzzle: our modern addiction to constant stimulation. From the moment we wake up and check our phones to the moment we fall asleep with the TV on, we're living in an era of unprecedented sensory input. We've trained our brains to expect and even crave a constant stream of information and entertainment. Our brains have become so accustomed to this noise that its absence can feel jarring and unnatural. Silence, which was once a normal part of human experience, now feels like a void. When we're stressed, this feeling is magnified. The lack of external stimulation combined with the internal turmoil creates a perfect storm of discomfort. We reach for our devices or turn on the TV, not just to distract ourselves, but to fill a void that we've become conditioned to fear. This desire to escape our own thoughts is a powerful motivator. It's the reason why, after a stressful day, binge-watching a series feels so good. It's a form of cognitive escapism. The show's plot, characters, and dialogue demand your attention, effectively drowning out your own anxious inner monologue. You're not just watching a show, you're borrowing someone else's reality for a few hours to escape your own. The same goes for loud music or getting lost in a video game. These activities provide a dense sensory experience that leaves little room for intrusive, stressful thoughts. So, is the answer to just avoid silence forever? Absolutely not. While it's understandable to seek distraction when you're feeling overwhelmed, constantly avoiding silence can become a problem in itself. It can prevent you from actually processing your emotions and dealing with the root causes of your stress. It's like putting a bandage on a wound that needs stitches. The bandage might stop the bleeding for a little while, but it won't heal the underlying injury. If you never allow yourself to sit with your thoughts, you never give yourself the chance to understand them, challenge them, or find solutions to the problems causing them. The key is to reframe our relationship with silence. Instead of seeing it as an empty, scary void, we can learn to see it as an opportunity. An opportunity for reflection, for self-compassion, and for genuine rest. This is where practices like mindfulness and meditation come in. These practices aren't about emptying your mind or forcing yourself not to think. That's a common misconception, and it's practically impossible. Instead, mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts without judgment. Imagine you're sitting by a river. Your thoughts are like leaves floating by on the water. Some leaves are happy memories, some are neutral observations, and some are stressful worries. The goal of mindfulness isn't to stop the leaves from floating by. It's to simply sit on the riverbank and watch them pass without jumping into the water to grab every single one. When a stressful thought or worry leaf comes by, you acknowledge it. You say to yourself, "Ah, there's that worry about my deadline." You notice it, you see it, and then you let it float on by without getting carried away by it. This process fundamentally changes your relationship with your thoughts. You learn that you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. This separation creates mental space. It allows you to see that a stressful thought is just that, a thought. It's not necessarily a fact, and it doesn't have to control your emotional state. By practicing this, you can gradually build a tolerance for silence. You can learn to sit in a quiet room and not be overwhelmed by your inner world. So, how can you start to make friends with silence, especially when you're stressed? The trick is to start small. Don't go from a constantly noisy environment to trying to meditate for an hour in a sensory deprivation tank. That's a recipe for failure. Instead, try microdoses of silence. Maybe it's just the first 2 minutes of your morning coffee, with no phone and no TV. Just sit and notice the taste of the coffee, the warmth of the mug, the sounds of your house waking up. Or try a sound-focused approach. This can be a great bridge. Instead of total silence, focus on a single calming sound. This could be a guided meditation with a soothing voice, an ambient soundscape of rain or a forest, or even just the hum of a fan. This gives your brain that external point of focus it craves, but in a much more calming and less distracting way than a chaotic TV show. Over time, you can gradually reduce your reliance on these sounds and become more comfortable with pure, simple quiet. Another powerful technique is journaling. When your mind is racing, getting the thoughts out of your head and onto paper can be incredibly therapeutic. The act of writing forces you to structure your thoughts and can often make them feel less overwhelming. It's like having a conversation with yourself, but in a more organized way. Once they're on the page, they often lose some of their power. You can look at them more objectively and start to problem solve. It's also crucial to remember that what you're experiencing is completely normal. In a world that glorifies being busy and constantly connected, feeling uncomfortable with silence is a shared human experience. There's nothing wrong with you. The goal isn't to become a stoic monk who is immune to stress. The goal is to build a toolkit of healthy coping mechanisms. Distraction has its place sometimes. You just need to zone out and watch a dumb movie, and that's okay. But it shouldn't be your only tool. By learning to tolerate and even appreciate silence, you're adding a powerful, restorative tool to your mental health toolkit. You're giving yourself the gift of being able to find peace, not just in the world around you, but within yourself. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when silence feels like a warm hug, and days when it feels like a monster under the bed. The key is to be patient and compassionate with yourself. Every small step you take towards embracing quiet is a victory for your mental well-being. If you find that your anxiety in silence is persistent and overwhelming, it's always a good idea to speak with a mental health professional. They can provide you with targeted strategies and support to help you navigate these feelings. There's absolutely no shame in seeking help. It's a sign of strength. So, the next time you feel that urge to fill the silence, maybe pause for just a moment. Ask yourself what you're trying to escape from. And maybe, just maybe, try sitting with it for just 1 minute. See what happens. You might be surprised to find that on the other side of that initial discomfort lies a profound sense of calm and clarity. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of silence and stress. It's a topic that's incredibly relevant in our noisy world. What are your go-to methods for dealing with stress? Do you seek out noise, or do you crave quiet? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read your experiences. And if you found this video helpful and want to learn more about how your mind works, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps the channel more than you know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.